Hi, Laurel Hill Lions. Welcome to week 2 in music. Are we ready to act like some lions? We're going to listen again to the Royal March of the Lion, and we're going to follow the listening map. So when the lion roars, we're going to do a roar motion. And when we hear the theme, we're going to march. You can march around your room if it's safe. March safely. You can just move your hands if that's all the space you have. And then when it says fanfare, we're going to move our hands like trumpets. Okay? So get yourself set and ready to move. I'm going to put the music on. So now that you've moved a little bit to the music, welcome to week 2 in music at Laurel Hill. Can you please take a second and look at the faces and see how that activity made you feel? Were you happy? Excited? What kind of music was that? If you were in class, we probably would have asked you to type a letter into the chat. Okay, going on. When we were in class this week, we took attendance. If you don't think you're going to be there and you can email us, that is greatly appreciated. But we're glad that you're listening to the recording now. So thank you for that. In this unit of music, we're on the same unit. We can echo rhythms. I can sing, can use movement to express an idea or feeling. We can talk about the music we listen to, learn about our jobs and participating in music class. So last week in music class, we looked at some pictures about the do's and don'ts of general music. We talked about how we're going to sing, play instruments, move, learn to read music, and learn about famous musicians. So let's look at some of these pictures. And can you point to one of the do's? One of the things we talked about last week that we are going to do in music class. Just point to one of them. So Miss Rickards here is facing the laptop. We are going to try to look at what the teacher is presenting on the screen. Miss Hasuni is ready to go for music. She's got her computer ready. Mr. Rogers and Miss DeLelio are both present in the meeting, so that's good. Now let's look at some of the don'ts that we talked about. Do you see some pictures of don'ts? Just point to one of them. Point to one of the don'ts. Yeah, so it's just too difficult to try to manage eating and music at the same time. We usually have you moving, clapping, playing, singing. It's really tricky. And remember Mr. Brady's funny video about being too noisy? Make sure you know how to use your mic and make sure you don't have any loud toys with you. If it's something out of your control, that's fine. But if it's up to you, make sure you have as quiet as you can. All phones and electronics should be away out of your reach so that we can pay attention to music. This week in music class, we talked about our favorite cookies. Oh, I love cookies. Okay, so we talked about, do you have a favorite cookie? A for chocolate chip. Is that your favorite? B for fortune cookie. C for Oreos. D for sugar cookie. E for molasses cookie. Or maybe cookies are not your favorite, which is fine. And then you would do the grumpy cat face. You'd say, nope, cookies are not my favorite. Absolutely fine. Then we played a game called the cookie jar. And it goes like this. Who stole the cookie from the cookie jar? And this is the words to the chant that we learned in class. Miss DeLelio stole the cookie from the cookie jar. Who, me? Yes, you. Couldn't be. Then who? Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers stole the cookie from the cookie jar. Who, me? Yes, you. Couldn't be. Then who? And sometimes if other people are around, they can take turns saying like, who, me? Couldn't be. They can take turns if they're there. But if not, we're just going to say it for them. So one of the reasons we learned this chant is so that we could practice the steady beat. Most music has a steady beat. A beat is steady and regular pulse we hear in music, like a heartbeat. All right, let's look at this page. How many hearts do you see? How many hearts do you see on that page? Can you count them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 hearts on that page. Okay, so maybe we can gently keep the beat right on top of our heart. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Who stole the cookie from the cookie jar? Miss DeLelio stole the cookie from the cookie jar. Who, me? Yes, you. Couldn't be. Then who? That was a little slow for me. I'm going to change my movement here so I can maybe move faster and keep the beat. You try it. Keep the steady beat up here. I got to go a little faster. Who stole the cookie from the cookie jar? Miss DeLelio stole the cookie from the cookie jar. Who, me? Yes, you. Couldn't be. Then who? Okay, and there's lots of different ways to move and different pictures we could look at. How many cookies are on this page? 8. 8 cookies. This time, let's move with our hands up and down. Who stole the cookie from the cookie jar? Mr. Rogers stole the cookie from the cookie jar. Who, me? Yes, you. Couldn't be. Then who? When we got bored, we would pull up some different friends' names using this wheel. I found it this week. I love it. Okay, so here we have a wheel with all of the specialist teachers' names on there. I'm gonna push it. You can pretend to push the button if you want with me. 1, 2, 3, push the button. Let's see whose name. Ah, Mr. Rogers again. Mr. Rogers stole the cookie from the cookie jar. Who, me? Yes, you. Couldn't be. Then who? Okay, pretend to push the wheel. Push it. Oh, Mr. R. Mr. R. Rogers from PE. Mr. R stole the cookie from the cookie jar. Who, me? Yes, you couldn't be. Then who? Okay, push the button for pretend. I know it's pretend. Oh, we're going to do it again. Mr. Rogers, you can't eat all the cookies. No, push it again. Let's see. Mr. Brady. Mr. Brady stole the cookies from the cookie jar. Who, me? Yes, you couldn't be. Then who? Okay, pretend to push the button. Push it. We better push it again. There it goes. Mr. Cookson, he's your science teacher. Mr. Cookson stole the cookie from the cookie jar. Who, me? Yes, you couldn't be. Then who? So you can see how you can play this game with people in your family. You can say, Mommy stole the cookie from the cookie jar. Mommy would say, who, me? You'd say, yes, you. Say, couldn't be. Then who? And then Mommy would have to pick a name. Okay, maybe she'd pick your somebody else in the family, brother, sister, cousin, uncle. All right, so that's how you play cookie jar. That's what we played today in class. The last thing we did was we talked about the music activity of the week. It is on the website right next to this video and is also on your Google Classroom, your music Google Classroom. So you build your own at-home instrument. There's a link. Wherever you see this page, there's a link somewhere. So if you click on the link, this is the activity you're going to do this week when you're not with us in music class. Every class gets 30 minutes of a lesson and 30 minutes of music class to do outside of class, okay? A music activity. So you can print and color the pictures if you want to. Those are the buttons at the top where you can print the worksheets if you can do that. I'm out of ink right now. I wouldn't be able to print that, but I could take a piece of paper and write woods, metals, shakers, and drums. That's something I could do in my house. All right, and then you can go around your house, find things to use for woods, always ask permission. Doesn't have to be fancy. Could be 2 pencils. Those are made out of wood. Mom, may I use these 2 pencils to make sounds in music class? Why not? Okay, and if they say no, then it's no. Find something made out of metal. All this is you can see on the website. Find something for a drum. This family found a bowl and turned it over, and that's their drum. Find something that shakes. Okay, if you have an adult with you that wants to read this to you, that would be great. There's some video. You can make some of your own instruments and then play along and play the instruments. Okay, so that's your activity of the week. The link is right next to this video. I enjoyed seeing you in music class. I hope to see you next time where we'll do more music together. Okay, friends, goodbye.